All right, guys, we're going to get into game number 2 here of this best of 9 between Turuk and Hyun.
And pretty cool first game. I guess not too much for Hyun, but Turuk, he had a game plan and it worked. I definitely think he's going to go for the exact same. It's going to be up to Hyun to make something happen this time.
Yeah, it looks like it. Turuk went for a super defensive opener, and totally possible we could see that again coming out of him. Well, let's get these player introductions in here. Spawning in the top right position of Daybreak, as our purple Terran went for a very turtley mech style and a really big 3-base timing. Worked very well for him. He is Turuk. And spawning in the bottom left position as our blue Zerg. Didn't really do anything fancy last game. I think that might have been why he wasn't able to pull it out just yet. He is from Quantic Gaming, and he is Hyun.
Hyun freshly joined Quantic Gaming. A very, very good player in Wings of Liberty. Seems to struggle a little bit more in Heart of the Swarm so far, but I'm sure as soon as he figures some things out, he's going to be a phenomenal player as well in Heart of the Swarm. And the second map being Daybreak here. I know Zergs really seem to appreciate this map, but this is definitely one of the better maps for mech, which Turuk goes for every single game against Zerg. So I guess they are both pretty happy about this map. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think, at least from a Terran perspective, I know this is a good map for mech. It's pretty easy to set up a really forward defense, utilizing the possibilities of this as a third or fourth base. We see some players taking a little bit earlier as the third sometimes, because it allows you to set up your mech army and not have to move it too much around. Once you get the forward base, the ones behind it are a little bit easier to secure. But we're going to still have another barracks opening out of Turuk, so it looks like he doesn't like to play too greedy, and he can kind of command center first. And scouting SCV is going to be sent out while Hyun secures his natural expansion and should be starting a spawning pool relatively soon. Do you think Hyun's going to mix it up at all on this map, since he's on a map that's a little bit more comfortable for Zerg players?
I think he's going to go for a similar style than in previous game. I mean, taking a third and macroing a lot in the start, but then he might get aggressive from the mid game. But I don't see him doing a rush, even though I think it would be a pretty good idea. When Turuk played against Dimaga did a lot of those 7-8 roaches rush, and they did very good against Turuk's build, because he only has one bunker with 4 marines up front, and in the meantime, where he's making the mines, before that, he's very vulnerable, so you can kill a lot of SCVs. If you just get 8 roaches and then you start droning up, you will pull ahead very far economically as a Zerg player, and that's why Dimaga was able to edge out Turuk in the previous best of 9 for this show match. So I think if Hyun goes for that, I definitely think it would be very good for him, but I'm not sure how well he's gonna read into Turuk going mech every single game. I'm not sure that he knows that that's Turuk's style.
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to be able to prepare for. Of course, there are ways you can kind of metagame a little bit if you know your opponent's going to go mech. And we have Hyun mixing things up a little bit to start this game off, opening with a gas. He's going to get fast Zergling speed. You can use this to kind of try to maybe get a run by if there's not a proper wall set up, deal a lot of damage to SCVs early on. Really punished his 3 orbital builds, but Turuk not opening Hellions could leave him a little bit vulnerable to this, since the amount of space in front of the natural is a little bit big. Gonna need probably all of his Widow Mines out before he can actually stop a run by, since his bunker is a little bit away from the mineral line. What do you think of this?
Yeah, definitely. If some links are made, and getting a bit of flag. But yeah, if some links are made, definitely, I think this can do some damage. It's really gonna come down to does Hyun try to go for it or not. He's getting speed. I feel like it's defensive speed, but I feel like it's maybe 50-50 as to where he chooses to go for links or not. It's really depending on if he scouts the bunker, if he sees how many marines there is. He might send an overlord in very soon to try to see exactly what Turuk's going for. And I actually would like to see if he scouted the gases, or at least one of the gas in the main of Turuk already or not.
Yeah, I don't know. That Overlord, I think, is prepared. It looks like it's in a position to go in after this, and like very soon for possibly a 5:30 scout. But I know that Turuk saw the the gas inside of Hyun's base, so he should be aware that there's a possibility, of course, for this Zergling run by. Maybe that'll cause Turuk to open with some Hellions, or he could maybe possibly expect roaches, and I think Widow Mines are a little bit better, but you need to make sure that you can get your opponent to stick near them, of course. It's all about holding the bunker position when it comes to early aggression, but Hyun's going to make a ton of drones now, so he's not preparing for some super big Zergling push. I know it's been a little bit popular in Korean meta for ZvT to open up with speed for pressure, dealing with early aggression as well, so this isn't terribly unusual for Hyun if he does something completely passive. He could just get the Ling speed, possibly expecting some aggression. And he's going to take his third base now, so as well starting a Roach Corner about the same timing as the previous game. So it doesn't look like Hyun wants to do anything crazy, just open with speed in case he could scout Turuk being greedy. But he does see one of the gases in the main base of Turuk, so he should have an idea that he's going to go for the same factory after expansion play. And as we saw in the previous game, that starport is complete. It looks like he's going to put on a tech lab this game, though, so we may not see the super fast Widow Mine drop that we saw in the previous match, but instead it's going to be Banshee, Todd.
Yep, and actually the Overlord poked in around 6 minutes the first time, or at least very early, and it saw that the right refinery in the main had mined a lot of gas out of it already. So here he just moved back with his Overlord and he started making drones from there. That was his decision. He probably realized there was no big marine attack headed his way and he did not need to make links. He was facing a factory play against which Zerglings are good for a very short time. He did not want to risk it. So now he does scout again, and he did spot the starport with the tech lab. This is going to trigger 2 evolution chambers. He's going to want to go upgrade heavy, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts making a couple spores very soon here. Maybe he does not know that he can make spores without the evolution chambers. Maybe he wants to go for upgrade heavy against a starport play. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's one of the more interesting things to know is that you do not need an evolution chamber to build spore crawlers. You only need the spawning pool. So Hyun immediately going to get spore crawlers per each base. We have one at the third base as well as one in the main. Nothing in the natural expansion just yet. Now he didn't scout cloak, so I think not putting one in the middle is going to allow his queens can move in a little bit more easily. And these marines, he's going to use his barracks to actually try to shove away this overlord. But there's some roaches coming up towards Turuk's base. There's actually quite a few roaches on the field. This could be a little bit difficult for him to deal with. He actually only has one marine in this bunker now, but the Widow Mines are going to go off, and the SCVs have been pulled to prepare.
And yeah, the Widow Mines doing a ton of damage to those roaches. And those links, blowing up everything immediately. The Banshee is going to come in and chase those roaches away. Slow roaches, by the way, as Lair is about to finish. 11 more drones on the way for Hyun here. He's starting 2 more extractors and he's started upgrading 1-1 for his ground units.
Yeah, so it's a pretty standard follow-up. Interesting to note, we're opening with that +1 melee attack for Hyun, so he's not going to rush straight into range upgrades to deal with a mech army. He's also going to get his infestation pit a little bit earlier, it seems. You think Hyun's going to go for a faster hive play with this melee attack in the infestation pit?
He's getting infestation pit, but he's getting bailing nest as well, which I'm a bit confused about because I feel like he's expecting mechs, so to be honest, I have no idea. This could be anything. He's not getting drop, so he's not going to go for the quick drop here, and maybe he wants to go into Ling and Infestor somehow and get some bailings to try to defend if he has to, and tech into Hive. Yeah, that could make sense. I can just as I say that, he starts the Hive. So,
yeah, there we go. The Hive is on the way as well as Aspire. Now, Turuk clears out the tower. Viking is pushing away the overlords, but this overseer does see, in fact, that Turuk is going for that 5 factory play. He scouts the rest of them under construction, sees the starport naked, and Hyun's going to start a 4th base. I think this is a perfectly fine decision. Knows the mech push is a little bit far away. The 1-1 upgrades, Naya complete. Turuk getting blocked, it seems, at 89 supply. A little bit of a slowdown here, and he's also going to be slowed down by this Overlord creep that was dropped at his 3rd base. So Turuk's a little bit slower than we saw last game. He took the late 3rd as well, but I think Hyun is going to respond a little bit better to this by possibly having Broodlords ready for an army that last game didn't really have much anti-air.
Yeah, last game Hyun definitely overcommitted on roaches. He did not know his opponent's style. He did not know when Turuk would attack. He did not scout the two armories, but in this game he knows what's going to come his way. He knows around when, so he's gonna start preparing for that. He's made almost no roaches, just a couple in the start. He's remaking a few now, and I feel like Hyun is in a very good position in this game. Turuk being able only to take his third base at 12 minutes. He's not gonna have the greatest economy, but we saw that in the previous game. He did not stop him from doing a 15 to 16 minutes maxed army push. And yeah, I think he's just gonna want to do the exact same here. He's starting +2 weapons for his tanks and Hellions here, and the Greater Spire is on the way as well now.
Yeah, that Greater Spire is on the way. Pathogen Glands is almost complete, so we could also see Infestors thrown into the mix now. We have 9 Corruptors being produced, so this is going to allow Hyun to move into that Broodlord composition a lot faster than the last game. Instead of his Hive Tech finishing as Turuk was battering down the door, he's going to possibly have Broodlords ready for this push. It looks like Turuk's starting to move out towards that tower, though, so he could be getting prepared to either go for a 4th base or maybe go for some kind of push or harass. Not 100% sure, but it looks like he's going to start moving up towards the top area of the field.
And Hyun is going to be able to see this coming his way immediately. The Greater Spire is about to finish, and Hyun is going to have to make a lot of units if he wants to be able to hold here. He's only on 52 army supply against the 89 of Turuk. Turuk doing a perfect timing, I feel, in this game. He's read the game very well. He knows that Hyun is the weakest right now, and he's going to do a great push here in the middle, taking down all of those spine crawlers. Hyun is going to evacuate with all of his drones to his third base, but I think Turuk is just going to push through here.
Yeah, it kind of feels like he went for the anti-timing again this game, kind of taking note. Okay, well, Hyun, you know, you don't really have as many roaches as you did last game. It looks like you might be teching a little bit too quickly here with not much army. We have 9 Broodlords completed, so it's going to take a good micro and control from Hyun with these Broodlords to take this force out. There are only 2 Vikings, but these Widow Mines can do a lot of damage if he gets too close. He has the tanks way behind them. He's going to need some detection to deal with this, and well, the 4th base is now under siege. Hyun is back on 3 bases.
Oh, and I love this. Hyun bringing his queens here to support his Broodlords. Oh, the Broodlords are gonna fly into the mines. He does not pay attention to them. Oh, and they take so much damage. He loses 3 of them immediately. Some more of them taking some damage. He's going to be able to transfuse those and restore their hit points, but huge loss here by Hyun. Not being careful. He definitely needs a couple overseers when facing a player like Turuk. He still does not realize.
Yeah, that was a really nice grab from Turuk. We're looking at the unit counting station. We have 4 Vikings on the field now. We have a lot of Hellbats, but there's only 6 Broodlords now. And Turuk's starting to make constant Viking production. He's getting his 4th base up, and Hyun's going to have to retake this 4th and 5th, but Turuk already has the command center complete. He's going to start this planetary fortress, and I think Turuk's going to be moving himself into a great position for the late game once again with that expertly picked timing. And these Widow Mines, he finally brings an overseer over, is going to take these out, uses the Broodlings to fight them. So I think Hyun needs to be a little bit more mindful of his surroundings. These 2 Widow Mines are actually still alive by the 5th base. Hyun can see this. Hopefully make sure to take that out. Doesn't want to accidentally lose any more units to that. Yeah. And Hyun's going to start breaking down these rocks. So what do you think is the best decision for Hyun? Should he try to go for a push, or should he just try to take bases and get a big economy with a lot of spine crawlers because he lost that first engagement? What do you think, Todd?
If I was in Hyun's position now, I would definitely try to push, but looking at the game as an observer, I feel like Turuk has enough to hold here. Most likely, he has a lot of Vikings already. He's going to be able to stutter step with them. I mean, shoot and pull back, kite those Broodlords. There is not so many Corruptors, to be honest, but there is a lot of Queens, so maybe he can transfuse a lot. Huge engagement here. Turuk sieging all of his tanks, and it looks like Turuk is in a good enough position to maybe hold this. The Vikings are fighting the Corruptors head on. A lot of transfuses going down here, and Hyun is going to pull back a little bit. The reinforcements are coming in very slowly for Turuk here.
Yeah, this engagement's not going too terribly for Hyun, though, but the Corruptor count is about to fall. He actually drops all the Vikings on the ground. I'm not sure he needs to. Once these Corruptors are gone, there won't be too much to protect the Broodlords. The Queens are taking some tank fire, but he has pushed through the mech line. The SCV should be able to repair this planetary for a while, though. I think after killing a lot of this mech army, Hyun might want to pull back, make sure he keeps all of his Broodlords alive, and just get a bunch of more Corruptors out to help deal with this Viking count. But now the Broodlords are under fire. One of them will fall, transfusing. The second one falls, however, and it looks like Hyun's going to lose all of his Broodlords despite winning this engagement pretty handily. So it looks like things are pretty even, and we also have to consider that now Turuk is going to be going for a 5th base as well. So this is really interesting, although I will note Hyun has a much larger bank than Turuk right now in terms of rebuilding his units, but not as much gas.
Yeah, Turuk's upgrades are great this game. They're going to start really affect the game, and I feel like this attack should not have done as much damage as it did. Just the Queens with a lot of energy were able to transfuse so many times both the Broodlords and the Corruptors, and in the end this attack did a lot of damage. And we have a big Zergling attack on the bottom. I think he wants to do a big run by, maybe in the 3rd base, or he wants to leave them there as an option. If he moves in now, he might get a couple of those caught. Oh, he has to be very careful too.
Here he goes. He's gonna run in. There are Hellbats in this army composition. Oh, Hyun's gonna run these Zerglings straight towards the 3rd. There's a lot of macro orbitals, not as many SCVs, of course, not as important once you're starting to build the army supply up, but he's gonna run into the natural expansion as well. So a nice little bit of multitasking, stretching by Hyun, kind of forcing Turuk to pull his army around, and it looks like Hyun wants to take this opportunity to go for another push. I'm not sure this is the greatest idea, though. He only has 2 Broodlords. He has additional Broodlords on the way, but he really doesn't have much in form of an actual army right now.
Yeah, and Hyun, he wants to push again here. He's going to start gathering in the middle, and this time he's bringing Spore Crawlers with his army, and I think this is going to be great for him. If he can break the tank line, he's going to be able to get through. Turuk, he has to make as much army as he can right now, because this mech army takes a long time to make. If he does not engage in a good position and with a maxed army, he's going to be in a world of trouble here. But he notices that Hyun is out of position. He's just going to move in onto the spores and start getting rid of some of them. And Hyun just relocates the Spore Crawlers. He loses 2 spines, but Hyun has bought himself some more time here. He has more upgrades on the way, and I think we're going to see an epic battle between those players with maxed armies to see exactly who takes the lead, a real lead in this game, because both players, they have stabilized now.
Yeah, I feel like Hyun's going to need some really good fungals on these Vikings. There are so many of them on the field right now. Hyun's got a really solid number of Corruptors. Still needs to get that Broodlord count up a little bit more, I think. Another Roach run by going up towards this bottom right base. We've had a little bit of pressure being put on by Hyun. Planetary Fortress not able to reach those Roaches in the back of the mineral line. But looking at the unit counting station, we have 18 Corruptors for Hyun. So he's got his air game back up a little bit. 8 Infestors with good fungals should be able to take out the Vikings, and that would allow these 7 Broodlords to deal damage. But there are 27 of those Vikings. No Thors at all. So it's going to come down to control from Turuk to make sure that he doesn't get fungled. And takes a really good engagement here, but it looks like we might have this starting up right now. And
Turuk, he has the watchtower here. He's going to be able to see Hyun coming from very far. He just has to micro his Vikings. Just micro his Vikings. If he can do it well, he should be able to hold this next attack, unless Hyun can pull some magic. We finally have a first Raven entering the game here. Corvid reactor is being researched. Ship weapons level 3 are on the way. Ship plating level 3 was already completed. So great upgrades from Turuk here. Hyun, I feel, is definitely playing catch up with his upgrades. Zerg flyer attacks level 1 is halfway through done. Zerg melee upgrades level 2 is on the way as well. And Carapace level 3 is going to finish. And Turuk is going to do a big run by with some Hellions on the top left hand side of the map here, frying a couple drones. Finally getting a couple drones in this game.
Yeah, great little harass here by Turuk. He's also going to send Hellbats in as well to clean up the job. Hellbats can kill hatcheries pretty damn quickly, so this is a nice little bit of pressure considering how slow the Broodlord Infestor Queen army is. It's not going to be easy for Hyun to go back and defend, and it looks like he wants to push in right now, throwing Infested Terrans down to buffer. The Broodlords are stepping up, beginning to launch those Broodlings everywhere. Fungal goes down on a lot of the Vikings. The Corruptors getting in great hits. There's no AoE to deal with these Corruptors right now. A couple more Fungals could seal the deal for Hyun, but the Vikings are going to survive. The Queens are pushing forward, Transfuses flying around. This Queen's actually doing a lot, adding a lot of DPS to this army, transfusing each other, and it looks like there might not actually be enough on the ground. You know, even if Hyun loses a lot of this, his army is going to be more mobile than the mech army if he can't get any more buildings up, and he might actually kill this planetary fortress, bringing the health down to red, but it looks like Turuk's going to repair it in time. Might want to pull these Queens back, though, walking off creep. They're so slow.
I think Turuk should definitely lang the Vikings and not let those units escape here. He's trying to do that. He gets fungled one more time here, and this was a great haul by Turuk. Hyun is down to 72 army supply. He's lost his top left base here. We have a couple of Hellions still killing some roaches there. He could just send those in the third or fourth base of Hyun and maybe kill some more drones before those Hellions fall, or he can just send them back. But Turuk right now is stabilized again. And big muta switch here out of Hyun. 28 mutas on the way. And I definitely think Turuk is not going to know about this. He does have a lot of Vikings already. He's on 16 Vikings, 2 Ravens, but this is going to be really tough.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult to deal with this switch. I think Hyun's kind of realized, you know what, Turuk, you're not going to make any Thors this game. I'm just going to try to build up a really big force that's okay against Vikings. I think point defense would be nice. There we go. It's going to go down. He's going to try to focus down these Ravens, but there are actually so many Vikings that they're going to be able to zone these Mutalisks out a little bit.
And the Mutas right now trying to do some damage on the bottom right-hand base of Turuk. They're going to get chased down. Some of them might die. Nice micro by Turuk. Shooting all of those mutas, and Hyun, he realizes he cannot escape, or at least he can do some damage before he escapes with some of his mutas, and he's gonna go for the 2 Ravens here. Nice! He's brought some infestors.
Oh, nice fungal growth on those Vikings. If he could get another one, but that looks like it's just gonna be GG for Hyun. Game 2 goes to Turuk.
And Hyun, he had such a good crisp rate here that he chose to use that to bring some infestors very quickly and try to fungal those Vikings, but there was just too much out of Turuk. Turuk again with the very inspiring play in this series, taking game number 2.
Yeah, just really, really solid decision making again. So many Vikings. You know, Hyun tried to do the Mutalisk switch again. I feel like if he'd done it earlier, both games, we might see that in the next game. If he kind of realizes that this is the way that Turuk wants to play with no Thors, this could end up being really effective. But yeah,
too little, too late, I think.
Yeah, too little, too late. Seems both games, honestly.
And we're gonna have a short break, and then we'll be right back with the next game. Stay right here, guys.